Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. What's the plan? And your plan has got to have something I call the C5 complex. Your plan has got to be clear, concise, compelling, consistent, and committed. You've got to have a plan. And when you're trying to do something that you're truly passionate about, there is no plan B.
The concept of waking up at a certain time to go work on yourself, you have surpassed 80% of the world. And saying that I'm going to get up every day at this time, no matter what, and this time is dedicated to me exercising to work on myself. That one mental exercise of commitment and consistency is what people struggle with the most. People have a hard time committing and being consistent to the thing that they said that they would do. Now, when you lock that up and you check that box, the next part is improvement.
Some nights you don't want to move. You're just tired. And tired will always suggest tomorrow. But commitment is doing it anyway. The days you'd rather stay in bed are the days that you build self-trust. So you sit up, get up, and you go.
And it doesn't need to be a world-changing decision. We always think that like the decision needs to change the world. No, you just need to fucking commit and do something.
I'm gonna tell you right now, 30 days ain't gonna do shit for you. The permanent, you wanna make it permanent. Permanent, you start talking about a year, 18 months, 2 years, that's a sacrifice. And when you commit yourself to something for a year, you're not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna let that go. Because in your mind, you have it clear as day. That year took a lot out of me. That year built me. That year started to scrape away all that scar tissue, started to clean me up. 30 days ain't clean shit up.
The question becomes this: can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you're doing? In other words, if you don't get what you thought you was gonna get, will you still be the same individual? If the situation don't turn out the way you thought it would turn out, will you still be the same individual? The quote says it: you judge the character of a man not by where he stands in times of comfort and convenience. You judge the character of a man by where he stands in times of challenge and controversy.
Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. Keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship.
Commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood that you have set it in has left. You see, people think commitment is saying, yes, I'll do it on the days when it feels good. But I have been committed to everything that I ever started in my life, and I never stopped and I never quit it. And so by being committed to everything that I started, I finished it. It built a certain type of spirit. It built a certain type of mentality. It built a certain type of individual. And so now I couldn't quit even if I wanted to. I couldn't lay in the bed even if I wanted to. I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. I had too much sweat equity in my life and everything that I was doing.
If you really want to be the best of the best, you have to treat every day like it's a whole new project. And there's no shortcuts, there's no slacking off, and your commitment must be 100%.
4 words that'll change your life. I do it anyways. Tired? I do it anyways. No support? I do it anyways. Scared shitless? I do it anyways. Afraid of failure? I do it anyways. Fear of rejection? I do it anyways. You don't build an amazing life or business or relationship by waiting for the perfect moment. You do it by showing up every day, regardless of how you feel. You do it anyways. That's how you win the game of life, with the mentality of I do it anyways.
Go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, work on the project, get out of bed. You need to get things done.
You got to commit to it. You can't want something but not put in the work. You know, and it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, no matter what it is. It could be a professional athlete, or it could be an artist, it could be a doctor, it could be anything in the world.
If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, to do that, you have to practice, you have to train. You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. Train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions, right? Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again. 9 to 11, right? You relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4.
I get it done, even if I'm just going through the motions. I go through the motions.
I just don't stop. You know how when most people get a break and they're like, oh, it's a break, I'm about to chill. I'm gonna keep going. So I never have to get to that mind state of, all right, I gotta get back going again. I gotta readjust. I gotta put it back on the wall again. No, I'm gonna just keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm gonna alter it certain days. I might adjust it certain days, might pivot certain days, but I'm gonna try my best to stay consistent.
The commitments we keep to ourselves and what we do when no one's watching is the most persuasive evidence that governs everything we then do every day thereafter. And this is, for me, was a huge revelation in my life because, you can look at certain people in your lives that are struggling in certain situations, and oftentimes it's a result of continually unkept commitments to themselves.
Son, once you start, there's no going back.
I know.
This means total commitment. Once you begin the path, there is no leaving the path. Are you sure you're ready for that? I mean, really ready?
If the situation and circumstances change, does it change you? Now we're in a different environment. Now the circumstance and situation is different, but it didn't change who he was. It didn't change what he had practiced, because now this is not what I do. This is who I am, bro. Because I did it in a controlled environment when nobody was present and nobody was clapping. See, most people live for the applause. So you die when it's not there. Not die physically, your drive, your dedication, your commitment, it dies. When there's no validation, when there's no clapping, when there's no cheers. But when you work, when it's none of that, when you get that, it's cool, it sounds good, you're grateful for it. But that's not what makes you show up and work and be who you are every single day.
I'm telling you what, man, once you get it, come on over this side of the fence, you don't see fucking problems anymore, man. You see situations. You see possibilities. And you can't wait to get them started, man. You're like, why did I wait so long to engage? It doesn't matter about the past. It's today. What are we doing today? What are we going to engage now? And once we engage, we commit. There's no half commitment. There's no quarter commitment. There's no third quarter. It's full commitment. Once we engage, it's every fucking day we engage. Because that's the better life.
Everyone says discipline is so important, but they never want to tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's the strongest form of self-love. It's ignoring something you want right now for something better later on. Discipline reveals the commitment you have to your dreams, especially on the days that you don't want to. The future you is depending on the current you to keep the promises that you made to yourself yesterday.
We talk about the path, and we talk about discipline, and we talk about living clean, but it is not an easy path. It is filled with temptations and pitfalls and hazards and traps, and it's hard to stay on the path. And if you fall off, it can seem even harder to get back on, but you can do it.
I'm going to say something to you. You're smart, you're talented, you know a few things, but talent means nothing in this game if you don't make the right choices. There's plenty of talented people out there who never see the light of day anymore. It takes discipline. You want my advice? Make a list of everything you want now, and then plan on spending the next 25 years of your life getting it, slowly, piece by piece.
Anything worthwhile is going to require some degree of pain and struggle. So, if you're oriented toward the pain and the struggle, you're probably going to be more aligned with what you're capable of accomplishing rather than if you just orient toward the pleasures.
You got to be honest with yourself. Do not be a slave. Whatever weakness is trying to be your master, don't allow it. Tell the truth. Call out your own weaknesses, then impose discipline, impose your will, and climb back up onto the path and set yourself free.
People aren't holding doors. It's all these small things, these small disciplines. Why do you make your bed in the morning time? When I was in the military, I never forgot. I was like, why the fuck are we folding our shirt up this way? Why? Why am I making these hospital corners 45 degrees and then folding my bed back 6 inches, the size of $1? Why am I doing this? All these small things that we do in life are building your mind up for discipline.
I always say that Discipline is the root of all good qualities, but you have to absolutely apply it to things outside of just waking up early. It's everything. It's working out every day, making yourself stronger and faster and more flexible and healthier. Discipline is eating the right foods to fuel your system. It's about disciplining your emotions so you can make good decisions. It's about having the discipline to control your ego so your ego doesn't get out of hand and control you.
Now, once you've decided on the discipline you're going to develop, the key is for you to launch strongly on your new discipline. Resolve to never allow an exception until it becomes permanent. If you fall off the wagon, immediately restate your affirmation as a command to yourself and begin trying it again. This is the only way you can develop the habit of discipline in that particular area.
So don't look at it as every day I suffer. Go into it an hour a day. Learn from yourself, learn from life, learn from your failures, learn from your insecurities, learn from your self-doubt.
The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
How you gain mental toughness, how you become the person you want to be, is constantly facing the things that you don't want to face. If you constantly run away from things that you don't want to face, how is there growth? How is there mental toughness? I can give you a class all day long about self-talk, visualization, eat an elephant one bite at a time. But if you're never putting yourself in a situation to actually practice these things,
and doing the tasks that you don't necessarily want to do, but that you know will help you or help your team. It's about facing your fears. It takes discipline to face your fears so you can conquer them. And that's what discipline is. Discipline means taking the hard road, the uphill road, to do what's right.
The best part of this process of developing disciplines is the direct relationship between self-discipline and persistence. The more you persist in any endeavor, the greater self-discipline and self-confidence you'll develop. It's been well said that persistence is self-discipline in action.
It's so often the easy path that calls to us to be weak for that moment, to break down for that moment, to give in to the desire and the short-term gratification. But the discipline will not allow that. The discipline calls for strength and fortitude and will. It won't accept weakness. It won't tolerate another breakdown.
You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind. To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts. If you look at all my teammates here tonight, it would be impossible to find better examples of men who embody that work ethic, integrity, purpose, determination, and discipline that it takes to be a champion in life.
The discipline can seem like it's your worst enemy. But the reality is, discipline is your best friend. It will take care of you like nothing else can. And it'll put you on that path. The path to strength and health and intelligence and happiness. And most importantly, it'll put you on that path to freedom.
No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. And my advice is to prepare yourself. Because football lessons teach us that success and achievement come from overcoming adversity, and that team accomplishment far exceeds anyone's individual goals.
Everything about it is self-discipline. Everything about it is no one's gonna save you. No one's gonna come out of the woods and say, hey, I got your back, man. I wanna take you from all this shit. Some people get that, but very few of us do. So the only person coming to save you is yourself. And that's what the book's about, man. Don't look around the corner hoping, I want to sit on this couch and hope for a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
It might come to that 1%, but it ain't coming to most of us. So you better start getting to work.
Get yourself disciplined. Well, why?
Well, not so you're a slave, but so that you could be a master. We know that we need to go through a disciplinary process, and we need to subjugate ourselves to a disciplinary process.
Mike Tyson said best. He said, discipline is doing something you hate, but doing it like you love it.
Through repetition of things you don't want to do, you develop mental, like an armor for your mind. You start to armor your mind, because your mind's like, okay, we suffer every day. That's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day, so then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. I just started being very uncomfortable. And now it's like just a way of life.
For an extended period of time, 5 or 6 years, I went every single day without missing a single day. I never got sick. I was in the water on Christmas, birthday, holidays, everything. It didn't matter. I was putting all of that, we would call it putting it in the bank. We were storing all of this good work that we were doing, this hard work that we were doing, continuous hard work, and it was going to pay off at some point.
Motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel, get up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And that's discipline. It's not motivation. If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works.
Some people didn't understand when I say I'm training for life. Folks see how much I work out, and they think I'm running from demons. It's not demons, it's discipline. And I'm a disciple of discipline. You can't outrun your demons. They'll always find you. Only way to beat them motherfuckers is look at them eye to eye and make them your bitch. Mindset's the only thing that gets you through hard times.
Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. You're tired? Do it anyway. Discipline says, oh, you don't feel good. Well, do it anyway. Discipline says, it's raining outside and it's cold and it's windy. Do it anyway.
You say the emotionally immature man seeks out motivation to do something hard one time. The emotionally mature man uses discipline to do something hard 1,000 times.
Some days you're not going to sleep well. Some days you're going to wake up and you've got your schedule and everything's planned out and the poop hits the fan. And whether things go well or not that day, the emotionally mature man will still do what he has to do to stack his wins.
Self-discipline is a learnable quality that anyone can attain through hard work and repetition. While this process may seem simple, it's not easy to do. Everyone can become a great leader and have better self-confidence and achieve success if they continue to do the right things in the right way. The fact is that you can develop whatever qualities you consider desirable and necessary. For some people it will be easier, and for others it will take more time and effort. But each person has the inborn ability to shape his or her character and personality in a positive way by being clear about his or her future intent.
You got two choices. One, you get scared, you give up, and then you burn up. And the second one, fuck fear! And you barrel through it. And when you come out on the other side, I guarantee you're gonna be stronger than you ever thought possible.
1 day in the gym is basically imperceivable. 2 days in the gym, you don't recognize any change whatsoever. 100 days in the gym, and you're almost a new person.
Consistency. He's like, you have to make sure that you're inconsistent. He's like, because if you are consistent and you have none of the other attributes, he's like, you still might be successful. He's like, it's very tough for people who are consistent to not be successful. And he makes an especially pointed point about consistency, because in my opinion, it's one of the most difficult of the virtues for humans to do, because we're so attracted to novelty.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
Finding uncomfortable moments and embracing uncomfortable moments are one of the most important things a person can do in terms of understanding themselves and understanding how they think.
It's like our minds are like a fucking garage. The garage, if you open a garage and it's all cluttered up, it's all fucked up, you can't put your car in there. You got fucking boats and you got fucking kids' toys and shit everywhere. But if you organize that fucking garage and you put everything in its rightful spot, you can pull that car in there. You can put 2 cars in there. You can put bikes in there. And that's like with the mind. People talk about discipline and fucking determination and fucking, repetitions and all this shit. Consistency. Why people fall off the wagon so often is because their mind is full of shit.
I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit.
Consistency, man. That's the name of the game, bro. Don't get much simpler than that. If you keep going every single day and don't stop, they ain't ready for prime time. They ain't trying to really get right. They take days off, this day off, that day off. They lazy. I'm tired. No. Grind every day, one foot in front of the other, bro. And I promise you, you're going to be lapping these folks, bro. Give it a year. Watch what happens.
And so like the consistency of work, Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better, right? And you do that over a period of time, not like 1 month or 2 months. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then you can get to where you want to go.
Master consistency. Become loyal to your path. Continue to remain focused on your destination and refuse to be distracted. Isolate your mind. Surround yourself with things that align with your vision and your vision only. Utilize every minute of your day to cover more ground, bringing you closer to success.
Because the harder that you try, the easier it gets. And so it's like, if you can just learn to love what trying hard feels like, then all of a sudden it becomes unreasonable that you can't win. So like, if you were to say, what would it take for somebody to be unreasonably good, that it would be impossible for them to not be a top 1% salesman or a top 1% content creator? And you said, what would that person need to do? Irrelevant from outcome, what would be the actions or evidence that they would have to do prior to that thing that would make it unreasonable that they couldn't succeed?
Why would you choose to be inconsistent? Because at the end of the day, it is all a matter of choice. So why? So you can feel comfortable? Comfortability fosters stagnation. And I assume if you're watching these videos, a stagnant life is not what you are in pursuit of. So what is it? I know what it is. You do not believe that you will be rewarded for your struggles, for the discomfort that you tolerate in efforts to stay loyal to your path. But you must know that if you try your hardest at anything, you will find success.
And then you do those things. What happens is you realize that it's actually not that hard because you put so much work into it, and the bar from other people working is so embarrassingly low that they then ask you how you did it, and it must be easy.
It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. It's hard when you're on your way to practice, weighed down with all your gear, and it's 90 degrees out and all the other kids are at the pool or at the beach, and your body is already completely exhausted from workouts in 2-a-days. But knowing you have to show up again the next day for just the chance to try again. But understand this, life is hard.
Consistency doesn't guarantee that you'll be successful, but not being consistent will guarantee that you won't reach success. Instead of spending time getting in the mood to work, just start working. Confront the work. People think they need perfect conditions to start, when in reality, starting is the perfect condition.
You have to control your mind. You have to be able, like, if your mind starts getting anxious, okay, I know we're getting weird, it's time to work out. Okay, I know maybe we should meditate, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. Don't just keep scrolling. You got to know when and when, but most people don't have that kind of self-control and discipline. They don't have to. All most people have to do is when the alarm goes off, get up, wash yourself, brush your teeth, eat something, go to work.
You can believe you're not worthy of a thing and still attain it. You can be adamant that your efforts are going to go badly and still succeed. You can grip and grasp and fear and it ruin the enjoyment and be totally unwarranted and things still go well. You can have no self-belief and show up anyway. You can want more for yourself without knowing exactly what that looks like.
Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. You're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking.
Yeah,
and if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years, you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
You can doubt the process, question your talent, be uncertain that you're making progress, disparage your accomplishments, permanently feel like you're not working hard enough no matter how hard you work, never give yourself a break, fail to fully feel gratitude, be terrified of never reaching your goals, and still end up in a place that your 20-year-old self could not imagine you'd ever get to. Self-belief is overrated. Generate evidence.
See, you got to see what God be doing for you, man. Because a lot of people don't take an inventory. Y'all don't know. Every funky thing that ever happened to you, God got you by it somehow. And if he ain't got you through it, he currently pulling you through it right now. That's why you sitting in here. So now with that piece of information right there, I understand the hesitancy to jump. But knowing that, why would you not jump? Why would you not take a chance? Like B say, yeah, it's scary. Hey man, I went to work the next day and quit my job. What you talking about?
You're always afraid to take the first step because all you see is every negative thing 10 miles down the road.
You gonna take the professor's side on
Don't
this?
give me a line of shit, no.
Look, I didn't want the job.
It's not about the job. I don't care if you work for the government. But you can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing. What are you passionate about? What do you want?
I don't want to live in a hole anymore. It makes me feel poor.
We are poor, but we're happy.
The views are better above ground. Honey, I'm 7 non-Fox years old now. My father died at 7.5. I don't want to live in a hole anymore. And I'm going to do something about it.
Well, I'm afraid to make a change, and I'd say, well, that's okay. That's understandable. How afraid are you of not making a change? Let's make a little vision of that. You're 35, you hate your job. What's the consequence? You're not motivated, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Now play that out for 10 years. You don't change it, you don't fix it. You're going to be in the same situation, but 10 years older.
If you play it safe, you're going to exist. You only get to live when you take risk. Ain't no living in safety. You can't be the man if you don't jump. Ain't nobody finna give you the championship. You don't win the title without coming to the fight. You don't win the fight without training. See, you have this opportunity. All of us have opportunities in life. It's gonna require a decision that we have to make to go for it or to stay still.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? And I love thinking about that when I'm thinking about big life decisions. Like, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And it's usually like the big one, the bigger thing that I really want to do, but I'm afraid to do it. It's like, that's what I should do.
If you can get a mental image of the person you would most like to become, begin now to act as that person would act in everything you do. Gradually, imperceptibly, you will actually become that person. It goes back to what the great German poet and philosopher Goethe once said. Before you can do something, you must first be something. Before you can do what you would most like to do, you must first become the person who can do it.
Stress doesn't come from hard work, for example. You can be working incredibly hard and loving it. And likewise, you can be out of work and incredibly stressed over that. So, and likewise, if you kind of use that as an analogy for what I was just talking about, if you're out of work, but you're going through, a disciplined approach of, a series of job interviews and so on and working to remedy that situation, you're going to be a lot less stressed than if you're just worrying about it and doing nothing.
The secret is to get and hold fast in your mind the mental image of the person you would most like to be. Then in every situation you act and talk as you feel that person would. You make the kind of decisions you think that person would. This is the way to constantly grow into a better, more effective person.
You gotta let go of that stuff from the past because it just doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you choose to be now.
But one of the things that really motivates me, or one of my most powerful motivational frames, is thinking about the person that I want to become as the destination. And thinking like, I want to be bulletproof. I want to be bulletproof in these ways. I want to be bulletproof in my marriage. I want to be bulletproof in my business, etc. And I think about that man, whoever I want him to be. Like we said, hell is when you look at who you could have been and realize that you're not that person.
How many of you out there have ever had a bad day? How many of you have had days where you didn't know the answer? You didn't know what to do next. How many of you had days where you felt like you just wasn't gonna make it? Can I tell you something about you? Your track record for surviving bad, insurmountable, I ain't gonna make it days, your track record for surviving them so far is 100%.
There's no excuse for people not being able to do what they want to do. You can do anything that you want to do.
Some people see the thing that they want, and some people see the thing that prevents them from getting the thing that they want. You can go after whatever you want. You just cannot deny anyone else to go after whatever they want. So the point is you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to do it the way everybody else has done it. You can do it your way. You can break the rules. You just can't get in the way of somebody else getting what they want.
Life will not be transformed overnight. There'll be no sudden miracles, perhaps, but steadily, day by day, you'll grow into the image you hold in your mind. If you doubt this, try it for 30 days and watch what happens. You've got nothing to lose. The time is going to pass anyway. Why not put it to work, becoming the person you most want to become? It's the trick of the experts in every field.
Always reach out to better yourself, because when you do that, things expand.
Life is much too short to live fearfully, to settle for less than the best that's in us. We can become only what we expect of ourselves. We must act the part before it can become real.